All right, guys. So a little story time. I want to talk about my background and a little bit of motivation, a little bit of why I am where I'm at now. So, if you don't know by now, I did serve in the military for 6 years. I didn't do it right out of high school. All right, so like most people, we're forced out of the house. We're either working or we're going to college, right? So I picked college because I didn't know what job specifically I wanted to do. And I think that was just the easier route. So I went to a college called Spartan College of Aeronautics and Technology. Now, the reason why I picked this school is because I was kind of putting hobbies together. So I liked working with my hands, and I also had a passion for aviation. I was watching a movie called Pearl Harbor, and that really inspired me to actually get into the military. Even though a lot of people haven't watched that movie, and it's mostly like a romance, but either way, I really liked it, and that's what got me motivated to go into the military. Now, I went to college out of high school uh, in Oklahoma. And I did that. I got my associate's degree. Everything was fine. And I was looking at what am I going to do next? So I really just had an epiphany. And at that point in my life, I was really concerned about protecting my family, being a man and standing up for what you believe in. And I think the military seemed like the best thing to do at that point in my life. And it was the best thing for me. And I'll tell you the reasons why. So I wasn't always super motivated and super confident in myself, but there is certain things in the military that gave me motivation and confidence. Now, after college, after that 2 years, I enlisted specifically for aircraft maintenance. Okay, a lot of branches won't actually let you pick the specific job that you want, especially if you don't score high on the ASVAB. Right? There's some people that score like a 30 or a 40, and they end up having to work a terrible job. But I was lucky enough to score above 70, so I was able to pick the specific job that I wanted. However, since I didn't have a 4-year degree, I wasn't able to, become an officer in the Marine Corps. Now, after I did my 6 years, I got out and I figured out that, life is hard for everybody. But there were certain things that I picked up from the military that gave me, the keys to success to, rebounding and getting back on my feet. So one thing that everybody has to do when they get in the military is go through a transition process. And that's typically called boot camp. So it's like between, I think the Coast Guard might be, 2 months or a month and a half. The Navy might be, 2 months or a month and a half or whatever. The Marine Corps is 3 months, right? That is specifically meant to break you down and then build you back up because everyone has different habits. They want people to be able to gel together and be a cohesive unit. So, all these different backgrounds, all these different experiences, and they get everyone to work and be on the same page. That skill set is very good when it comes to rebounding and getting back on your feet. You have to break down before you can build back up. And here's what I mean by that. So, a lot of people have bad habits. A lot of people have things that they do that they don't really think about, and it's not helping them on their fitness journey. So, things like being lazy, things like, not waking up at a certain time, not eating the right foods. In boot camp, they teach you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So there is no guesswork in the military. It's all staged and ready to go for you. That's another thing with, being young. Most guys don't have any direction in life. And that's why people say, hey, the military might be the best thing for you. Because if you don't have direction, the military will absolutely give you direction. Another thing is you go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. For the most part, obviously, you've got like fire watch, which is standing duty and things like that. But for the most part, you have a very structured and rugged life. So that's going to give you the ability to actually lock in and achieve your goals the way you want to achieve them. So, what I mean by this is a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to get 7 hours of sleep a night. And then they might do it for 2 or 3 days, but then they slack off and, you know, they end up giving up after day 4. With the military, it is just every single day. It's drilled into your mind. Like you become a different person. A lot of people don't do that whenever they're coming into the military. So it's hard, right? But at the end of boot camp, you have built yourself back up as a different person with different values, different traits. And that's why I think the Marine Corps and the military in general is so successful, is because they absolutely break you down, tear away all those bad habits, and then they build you back up into what they want you to be. Now, things that you learn in the Marine Corps and in the military is resilience. You build confidence, knowing that you've done something hard and that a lot of people cannot do. It is crazy to me that the majority of the US population can't do more than 20 push ups at one time. But it is a fact. A lot of people are overweight, a lot of people are out of shape. So the military has its benefits, and what I've been through has significantly given me the opportunity to bounce back from certain situations in life. So whenever I got out of the military, I was, eating bad foods. I wasn't going to sleep at the right times, and I absolutely let myself go. Absolutely, 100%. I was working a whole bunch. I had one job that was 10 hours, and then I would have like an hour break in between, and then I would go to another job that was 6 hours. So, and then I still, trained, but I wasn't eating the right foods. And it was a really hard point in my life where I had to figure out what the fuck I was doing. I ballooned all the way up to 223 pounds. It was fucking insane. I think I probably got up higher than that, but as everybody knows, you fear looking in the mirror, you fear like stepping on the scale, so you avoid that shit entirely. So I was probably like 230 at one point. I just didn't want to step on the scale and realize that. So I stepped on the scale at 223 when I started actually trying to lose weight. Now, a lot of people might think, oh no, man, you got good genetics and you've always been motivated. And that is absolutely not the case. All right. I did play football in high school, but again, football didn't really give me the tools to actually bounce back. All right. The military absolutely gave me those tools to bounce back. The one piece of advice that I can give you guys is if you don't have structure in your life, if you don't have accountability in your life, if you don't have the know how and the consistency already, you have to find ways to implement that into your life so that you're not struggling or going out of your way and making it harder for yourself. So, what I mean by this is if you struggle with accountability, you need to get a gym partner. If you can't go to sleep on time, you need to set so much stuff in your day that you're tired as fuck by the time you need to go to sleep. So that is automatic, right? That's exactly what happened in boot camp. I was fucking tired by the end of the day. Ain't nobody could tell me to go to sleep. I was already going to sleep. All right. Same way with nutrition, right? If you just fucking can't stick to your meal plan, what you need to do is you need to throw everything away in your house that is bullshit. Like sugary drinks, Skittles, Twizzlers, all that trash, right? Throw it away. And then you need to get yourself a meal plan where you're buying your food and they ship it to you. Or what you can do is spend one day to prep all the food, right? And then this might be shocking to some of you guys, but you can absolutely freeze your debit card, your credit cards, right? So that you're not spending any money anywhere else, right? Aside from like gas or something that's an emergency, right? But you don't want to give yourself convenience to spend money on bullshit. So if you don't have structure in your life, if you've never done this before, it's going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done, hands down. But I will tell you that the journey that it takes to get you to where you want to be will be absolutely worth it because it's hard, because not a lot of people can do it. And that's how you gain confidence, respect. And it starts with the mindset of, I need to change my surroundings and I need to step into something that's not me yet, right? So I need to break myself down and then build myself up. So get rid of those bad habits, get rid of those friends that aren't going to help you reach your goals. Get all the trash foods out of your diet, and then you can start sleeping at least 7, 8 hours a night. You can start eating your protein goal every single day. You can hit the gym at least 3 times a week. Stack those small wins, and I guarantee you, you're going to see success in due time.